So by the time you're seeing this, NFL kickoff is already going to be underway. And after free agency, the draft, training camp, and a long offseason, and longest gap between making videos. So today I'm going to share every team's predictions on their record and tell you how the playoff bracket is going to look come January. While you're watching, make sure you're subbed to the channel because we're going to have a lot of wild takes. And starting with the AFC, in dead last, I have the Dolphins. Look, I've been hoping for Miami to actually get serious ever since they got Mike McDaniel back in 2022, but it has been 3 seasons. Not only have they not moved forward, but they have essentially took a step back every single year. This is the only NFL team without a playoff win this entire century, and their O-line is just gonna be bad. And along with that secondary, that's gonna be putrid. It is just not looking good for Miami this year. And I can say the same thing for the Jets in third. They're going to have a better record, but not by much. On the defensive side, I still believe in Aaron Glenn. That Jets unit is going to improve defensive-wise. But you flip to the offense, they have not looked good. Like, all of training camp, they have not looked good whatsoever. I don't know what is going on. I mean, this could be Fields' last chance for a starting QB job, but if I was a Jets fan, I would not get my hopes up, if ever. And looking at their competition in a much wider gap, I got the Pats in second place. And these guys are going to be the dark horse when they make the playoffs. Even before they got Mike, the Pats had a pretty good defense. Now it's going to be top tier. Henderson is going to be a beast, and Drake May will light up that receiver room. Mark my words. I know this might be a hot take, but when January comes around, I'm not going to be surprised if they make the playoffs. But in first, in no surprise, I got the Bills taking the AFC East. I mean, this is the easiest division champ to choose from among the 8. If the Bills were supposed to regress last season and they still make the AFC Championship, no team in this division is going to dethrone the Bills. In no way, shape, or form is this going to happen. Moving on to the AFC North, I got the Browns in dead last, unless anybody else is surprised by this dumpster fire. Nope, no one? Okay. Coming in third, I got Pittsburgh, having their usual 9-8 season, their usual top tier defensive unit. But I will say this, Rodgers could do the funniest thing ever on his farewell tour if Pittsburgh can go 8-9, finally breaking the most oversaturated winning streak. Will it happen? Probably not. Will it matter? Probably not, because they're gonna miss the playoffs or get smoked down the wild card. I mean, we've already watched and seen this script for like the billionth time. And I've only seen the script for the Bengals defense once, and I'm still a little cautious putting them in second if their defense is even a fraction better than the unit from last year. But if Cincinnati is going to be a threat, that offense needs to put up over 30 points a game. That is the bare minimum. Every game is going to feel like they got to be playing from behind. And yes, I have them losing to the Browns in week 1. Why? It's the Bengals. That's the most guaranteed thing I'd say about them. Death, taxes, and a Bengals loss in the first 2 weeks. Those are my 3 guarantees in life. And winning the division, I got the Ravens. I mean, all the boxes are checked off outside of the secondary. We just need to see these guys perform come January. We all know the Ravens can get it done now. This has to be their year. We just need to see that playoff run. Otherwise, you guys are just the AFC's Cowboys. Okay, maybe not now, but you're getting there, to put it simply. Moving on to the AFC South, I got the Colts and Titans tying for dead last, but I got the Titans taking third because this could change and maybe they can take second, but I gotta see that offense make some noise. The Titans have a really underrated defense, but Cam Ward has to prove he can elevate this offense. With what he has been saying about this wide receiver room, it's very possible, but we need to see this on the field. And side note, that is the most I've ever heard about the Titans this offseason, despite having the #1 overall pick. I mean, yeah, obviously there's a lot of narratives with, Shedeur Sanders and all that stuff. But who knows? All I know is that anyone or any organization that's been quiet for this long has to be thinking of something big. Unlike the big swing and miss from the Colts after drafting Anthony Richardson a couple of seasons ago, I mean, these guys are going to be last in their division. Every season, they have been one of my few dark horse teams. Like, they have been one of the 3 dark horse teams I would have every season, but I just cannot pick them this year. They got their RB, they got their pass catchers, they finally got their tight end. Defense needs some improvements, but the only issue was their QB. AR is not the guy. Either he has one crazy 50-yard pass for a highlight, or he has one of the worst accuracies. There is no in between with this guy. And when you have Daniel Jones, which is anything but explosive, but a solid game manager at best, there is just not a lot of excitement that you're going to see out of this unit. Unlike the Jags, who I have in second. I think this is the year Trevor Lawrence is going to have his redemption season, and everyone's doubts on whether he is Jacksonville's guy will finally cease to be. They have a solid wide receiver room in Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter. Also, him playing corner with that solid defense. However, my only concern, Liam Cohen. I put this on my Halo Top cookies and cream ice cream. Please do not let this turn out to be like the Broncos back in 2022. Okay, putting on the Halo Top ice cream is crazy, but I don't know. After he said that Duval, it just had a really really bad-ish. Those who know. And in first, I have Houston. Now, in all honesty, if this was in any other division besides, the NFC South, they would be second or even third. But I think Stroud and the offensive unit will have a bounce-back season, right? They shifted their offense more to be more of a pass-heavy unit, which was their weakest spot outside of their O-line. They'll be my dark horse for this year. And finishing off with the AFC West with some of my craziest takes, I got the Chargers going in last. Yes, I have the Raiders ahead of these guys. And the biggest reason, Rashawn Slater. Now, these two teams can be switchable. And holy, I hope I am wrong, but the only improvements I've seen the Chargers make this offseason was their running back room and the wide receivers in Trey Harris and Omarion Hampton. Omarion Hampton. Speaking on the Raiders, I'm a big Pete Carroll guy and a Nash and Genty believer, and I believe those are the right guys to change the Raiders culture entirely. But are they going to be competitive? Not exactly. I mean, really, because the gap between them and the Broncos and Chiefs are just that wide. But for the Chargers case, this has got to be a Herbert prove it season. Otherwise, the narrative is just going to get worse with the guy. Herbert haters are going to have a field day. But moving on to the team that gets second in the West, I have the Chiefs. That's right, you heard it here. I have the Broncos dethroning the 3-time defending AFC champs in the Kansas City Chiefs. The Broncos just have the most complete team out of this division, and the only guys to nearly beat the Chiefs last year, almost sweeping them. They've added studs on both sides of the ball. The only thing I have to knock on the Broncos for is their wide receiver room, but even with that, they got Evan Ingram, who could very well be their team's Brock Bowers. And if you still think I'm talking crazy, look at the Chiefs' schedule and tell me, are they going to win the AFC West this year? Anyways, moving on to the NFC East, I got the Giants. Despite having a top 10 defensive unit, they are not going to win a lot of games. At most, they're going to win 3, which is going to be the least in this division. I don't know why I rhymed, but yeah, these guys are going to be in dead last. But I mean, on paper, these guys could be good. It's just that they have one of the hardest schedules in the league. And in third, I have the Cowboys. I mean, I had y'all here before the Micah trade even happened. Now it's just solidified. Your defense is going to be bad. Dallas fans, if you so choose to switch teams, considering the unnecessary drama that is marketed over there, I don't blame you. 100% warranted, and nobody will bat an eye. In second, I got the Commanders. They're going to regress a little. They're going to have what was last year's Houston's team this year. If there's a way to put it, how they'll look this season. Now, I could be wrong with guys like Debo being able to elevate the offense. Defense is still going to look promising. Outside of that concerning O-line, this is a good squad, but they will not be dethroning the Eagles, who will break this streak and will become NFC East champs in consecutive years. Sure, they lost some pieces, but at the same time, this is Howie Roseman we're talking about. Best GM in the league. Offense is going to pick right up where they left off. And I mean, before the Super Bowl, NFC Championship, 55-point game. The defensive unit is still going to have that identity of being the team to beat this year, if it wasn't obvious already. Moving on to the NFC North, the hardest division to predict. The craziest thing about these 4 is when I was picking out which games they're going to win and lose to, they all went 11-6. I'm not kidding. Predicting these 4 is like a war zone. You just don't know what the outcome's going to be. I mean, Detroit lost both of their coordinators. Minnesota is going to have a QB essentially starting their first year under center. Chicago might actually be a competent team now. So competent now that the Packers had to trade for Micah. But here's how I see this happening. Detroit's going to take the North while Dan Campbell becomes coach of the year, while Chicago takes second. And in a Week 18 season finale, I have the Packers defeating the Vikings. In all honesty, had it not been for the Niners having the easiest schedule, history would have been made and all 4 of these guys would have made the postseason. Legitimately, this could happen, but for right now, these are my picks. Moving on to the NFC Snoot South, the Saints will be the very first team to go 0-17. Look, outside of New York, there is not a single team on their schedule that they are favorable to win. Honestly, even their game against New York is going to be a toss-up. But yeah, Saints fans, best to sim through this entire year. Don't even blame you. Just do it. Finishing in third, I got Atlanta. I will say this is going to be an improvement from last year. My only concern is their edge being able to get pressure on the QB and Kyle Pitts. For the 5th straight year, I'm not putting the Falcons anywhere near second or first until we actually see his performance on the field. I'm sick of the he's a top 5 tight end on paper. There is always an excuse for why he underperforms every single year, and I'm done. Finishing in second place, I got Carolina. With that wide receiver room of Ted McMillan, Xavier Legette, and Jalen Coker, Bryce is going to elevate that offense. He's going to elevate his game plan from last season. This might be the most efficient Panthers squad that we have seen in years. Yet I still don't think it'll be enough to take the division from from the reigning champs, the Bucks, the reigning division champs. Look, if you don't have Baker Mayfield as a top 3 quarterback in his conference, you're insane and you're out of your mind. With the amount of OC changes that he has had, this is his system. Also, for another reason, they got Bucky Irving. And finally, we have the NFC West, and I got the Cardinals in dead last. This could drastically change, but I gotta see with my own eyes. Otherwise, there's gonna be some serious conversations on Kyler Murray. He has been in the league for how long? This is his 7th season. His best year was way back in 2021, and even that was only for half the year. This is a last straw. Coming in third, I have Seattle. Now, I'm gonna take more of a safe route with these guys, kind of like Pittsburgh, mainly because they're gonna be having a much different offense from what we've seen the last couple of years. More of a run-heavy type of offense, O-line getting buffed up. Run defense is gonna be a major priority, basically what we've seen a lot with the 49ers. To put it simply, they're adapting, and I like it. But with the opposing competition, I just don't have the Seahawks making the playoffs this year. Unlike the Niners, who I have in second. Look, these guys have one of the easiest schedules out there, and despite a lot of the pieces that they lost on their defensive side, I trust Robert Saleh to beef up that Niners defense. But will they go far in the postseason? If the top 5 unit from the past 3 years couldn't get it done, what makes you think this unit can? And of course, injuries are going to be a really big factor along with their horrible bad luck, but how many excuses are going to make for these guys? Either they can do it or they can't. And right now, I just don't see it. And in first place, I got my Rams repeating as NFC West champs. They are the closest squad to beating the Eagles from last year, and we have improved in almost every area. Wide receiver, Devontae Adams. Run defense, Poona Ford. And Nathan Landman, who is now a captain who I am praying, please save us from Troy Reader. We already lost Chris Paul Jr. for whatever reason. Apart from that, the only other concerns that I have is Stafford's back injury, but I still think that's going to be a little bit minor because we've seen Stafford play through a lot of injuries throughout his career. He is still one of the most durable quarterbacks that are still playing out there, unless he has a clone from what I've heard. But yeah, NFC West champs. And for this playoff bracket, representing the top 2 seeds are the Bills and the Eagles. At number 2, I got the Ravens and the Rams. At number 3, Houston and the Bucks. And finishing off number 4, the very last seed for a home playoff game, I got Denver and Detroit. And representing the wildcard spots. At number 5, I got the Pats and the Niners. In number 6, I got the Bengals and the Bears. And finally, in number 7, just squeaking in to make the wild card, I have Green Bay and Kansas City. So yeah, that is going to be my final NFL predictions for the 2025 regular season. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with my picks. Whatever it may be, just know anything can happen on any given Sunday. And be sure to give me a follow on TikTok, IG, and Twitter. Make sure you sub to the channel for more sports takes. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.